Fischl is one of those characters that was fairly popular in the launch of Genshin, however has lost the spotlight due to the fancy 5-stars Hoyoverse has been releasing. With the announcement of 2.8, I took another glance at her and I must admit, she's easily one of the best characters in Genshin, and with the spotlight back on her through a new skin and being one of the main characters in the plot of 2.8, what better time to talk about how great Fischl is through a guide. In this guide I'll speak about her best weapons, artifacts, teams, and tips, so let's begin. Fischl has one of the best kits in the game. She's able to fulfill the traditional roles of main and sub DPS while providing benefits to her team that other characters cannot. Moreover, her simple kit has great utility that allow her to be placed in a wide variety of teams. Fischl's normal attacks is a sequence of 5 good scaling bow attacks. Being a bow character, Fischl has the advantage of being able to damage enemies from a comfortable distance. At the end of her normals, Fischl has a long animation. To avoid this and continue to deal damage, you can either quickly aim after the 5th hit, or sprint cancel. Her skill summons Oz, who plays a huge role in her kit and is a big reason to why she is so great. Oz will be on the field for 10 seconds, where each second he will deal single target electro damage. His damage is high thanks to this talent scaling and Fischl's second passive talent, where whenever you trigger an electro reaction, Oz will deal 80% of Fischl's attack, greatly increasing his damage. If an enemy is too far from Oz, he can be moved by pressing the skill button once more. The downtime of the skill is 13 seconds. On top of great damage, Oz will generate a high amount of energy particles, allowing Fischl to benefit her team in more ways than just damage. Fischl's burst has her take on Oz's form, increasing her movement speed for 2 seconds. When in this form, enemies nearby will be attacked by a small amount of electro damage. However, the burst's biggest significance is when out of the special state, Oz will return to the field as he would if you were to cast him in his skill. This aspect of her burst is very strong as the frequency of Oz being on the field is greatly increased. While Oz's skill is on cooldown, he will be active through Fischl's burst. Once Oz's burst duration is complete, his skill cooldown is also complete, and he can be called once again, increasing his frequency in a battle to nearly 100%. This makes Fischl easily one of the best characters in the game, as with very little time activating, Oz will be on the field for a long time, dealing strong damage whether Fischl is on or off the field, generating particles and applying electro to enemies, making it very easy to perform reactions. For the talents you should prioritize, if you're building Fischl as a physical DPS, you should first prioritize her normal attacks and her skill. Then lastly her burst, as Fischl's normals and skill will be her main source of damage. Her burst isn't important as her burst is just a damage dealt to enemies when you come into contact with them in this special state. When out of it, all of Oz's damage is just his skill scaling. As a sub DPS, all of Fischl's damage will come from Oz, so you should first prioritize her skill, then her burst, and for her normal attacks you can either ignore them or level them up as much as you see fit. Now let's get into Fischl's weapons. There are many options for Fischl that is shared between her builds as a main and sub DPS. I'll first mention the 5 stars that are shared between the builds, however this won't be a ranking from best to worst as everyone's Fischl is different and has different needs. Moreover, all these bows are amazing, so you really cannot go wrong with either of them. So some great options for Fischl is first the Skyward Harp. This bow is amazing as it gives Fischl really everything she wants, a high base attack and both crits. Then the Polar Star, which grants a lot of attack on top of a great 33.1% crit rate. The Thundering Pulse and Aqua Simulacra grant high attack and a very high crit damage. Lastly, the Amos Bow for its high attack and damage increase. For 4 stars, you can use the Viridescent Hunt, the Prototype Crescent, or the Blackcliff Warbow. Now for weapons that are not shareable between the two builds, for physical Fischl you can use the Rust, which will greatly increase her normal attacks. If not the Rust, you can use the her signature weapon. Though this bow may not output the most physical or Oz damage, it will increase the 2 sources of damage quite a bit, making it a great mixed option for DPS Fischl. If not this weapon, you can craft a compound bow. For sub DPS Fischl, you can use the Stringless. Its passive is perfect for her, though it may have an EM substat which is not the best stat for Fischl. EM is still by no means useless and will help her in certain comps based around reactions. A similar and slightly worse option to the Stringless is the Windbloom Ode. Because the bow has an attack percentage buff instead of damage like the Stringless, it will output less damage but is still a good option for Fischl. The next bow is the Alley Hunter. With its high attack, it has a good but somewhat tricky passive. You don't want Fischl out in the field for too long, so you want to quickly use her skill or burst. Last is the fairly new Fading Twilight. This bow is a good mixed option for Fischl, giving you energy recharge, a good base attack, and a damage increasing passive. With her weapons covered, let's get into her artifacts. For players below AR45, if you're building Fischl as a physical DPS, you can use any combination of 2 Sojourner, 2 Berserker, and 2 Martial Artist. For those below AR45, building Fischl as a sub DPS, you can use any mix of 2 Sojourner, 2 Gambler, and 2 Berserker. For late game players, you can give your physical Fischl a 4-piece Pale Flame. This set is great on Fischl as with Oz on the field for a long time and constantly dealing damage, the artifact's 4-piece is easily triggered. If you're not able to use 4-piece Pale Flame, a great alternative is 2-piece Pale Flame and 2-piece Bloodstained Chivalry. You can also use 2-piece Bloodstained and any 2-piece granting 18% attack. The last option is 4-piece Retracing Bolide. Though you have to be shielded, this artifact set gives a massive 40% normal attack damage increase. For sub DPS Fischl, you can use 2-piece Gladiator and 2-piece Thundering Fury. A great but limited set for Fischl is 4-piece Thunder Soother. This set can make Oz deal huge damage, however only when enemies are affected by Electro, so I'd only recommend to use this set in Taser teams or Electro heavy teams. The last set is any 2 sets that grant plus 18% attack, such as Gladiator or Shimenawa. For artifact main stats, you should use an attack percentage stance, an Electro Goblet, and either crits for the circlet. As for which substats you should aim for both builds, aim for both crits, attack percentage, and elemental mastery. As for energy recharge, aim for around 130 to 145. I'd recommend to stay on the higher end of ER, especially if Fischl is the only Electro unit in a team. The extra energy will allow for us to have no downtime and always be active in a fight. Though Fischl is great at C0, she has some strong constellations that make her even greater. The ones you want to focus on that better her as a main DPS is her C1, where Oz will attack an opponent when Fischl normal attacks. Oz's attack is 22% of Fischl's own attack, and his attack only occurs when he is not on the field. Then her C3, which increases the talent level of Oz by 3. Normally I don't speak of these talent level constellations, but since Oz plays such a big role in Fischl's kit, you're gonna want this constellation. Lastly, her C6, which causes Oz to be out on the field for an extra 2 seconds. Moreover, like C1, Oz will perform a joint attack with your characters. However, this time these attacks occur when Oz is on the field, and Oz's attack is 30% of Fischl's attack. For sub DPS Fischl, since Oz will be the one dealing damage to enemies, aim for her 3rd and 6th constellation. Now that you know how to build Fischl, let's get into what teams to play her in. With Fischl's great versatility and many benefits she brings to a team, she can excel in just about any team as both the main and sub DPS. But for specific teams, the first team I'll mention is a Superconduct Eula team. Here, Fischl, Beidou, and Rosario will provide strong off-field damage while triggering Superconduct for Eula. Fischl will also act as a battery to the team, especially to Beidou, who does struggle with energy recharge. This team is a very strong team as there are 3 sub DPSs alongside Eula, meaning the DPS of this team is very high. Moreover, with 2 Cryo and Electro units, Superconduct is reliably triggered for Eula to take advantage of. Alternatives to the characters I mentioned is replacing Beidou with another Electro sub DPS like Yae Miko or Raiden, replacing Eula with other physical DPSs such as Jean, Rosaria, Physical Keqing, or Razor. Lastly, you can replace Rosario with other Cryo sub DPSs like Kaya or Ganyu. However, Rosaria is the best option for this team as she can reduce the physical resistance of enemies while increasing crit rate. The next team comp is a team where Fischl will act as the main DPS. Here, Oz and Rosario will trigger Superconduct, while Yunjin will significantly increase Fischl's normal attacks. Lastly, Zhongli will lower the resistance of enemies, shield Fischl, and petrify enemies. Fischl will also be able to take advantage of the Geo Resonance. Alternatives to this team is to replace Zhongli with shielders like Tayona, Toma, or Yanfei. Though overload may occur, Fischl is a ranged character, so this shouldn't be too much of a problem. Next, Yunjin can be replaced with other buffers like Bennett or Kujosara, or a sub DPS to increase the team's overall damage. Lastly, Rosario can once again be replaced with Kaya or Ganyu. The next comp is a Taser team where Fischl will be the main DPS. In this team, Beidou will provide great off-field damage and great Electro application. Yelan will do the same but instead Hydro, while Bennett will provide a huge attack increase and also heal the party. Beidou can be replaced by Yae Miko, Yelan can be replaced with Xingqiu, or support Ayato, Kokomi, or Barbara, and Bennett can be replaced with Yunjin, Kujosara, or Zhongli with the Noblesse Oblige set. The last team has Fischl as a sub DPS in a Taser team. In this comp, Beidou will be the main DPS and driver for Taser. With Taser, Beidou, and Kazuha, Electro will be repeatedly applied to multiple enemies, allowing Fischl to effectively use 4-piece Thunder Soother, making her a very strong sub DPS. You can replace Yelan with Xingqiu, Ayato, Barbara, or Kokomi. Beidou can be replaced with Razor, Yae Miko, the Raiden Shogun, or Keqing. Lastly, Kazuha can be replaced with Bennett or other animal characters with 4-piece Viridescent like Sucrose, Jean, or Venti. And that is everything. I hope you enjoyed and gained from my guide on Fischl. She's a very strong character that is not spoken enough in today's Genshin. She's so great, really I recommend her for everyone. She fills so many roles and does so many great things for a team. Overall, she's just a great unit to have. If you enjoyed, please consider liking and subscribing, and let me know in the comments what are your thoughts on Fischl. Do you like her? Have you already built her, or do you plan on building her later? Also, feel free to ask me any questions you have on Fischl, and good luck to all those that are building her. Thank you all for watching, and take care.